Welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hello. Welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
Yay. We're glad you're here. And we're glad to be here too. Last episode,
Just let them know. We're here.
yeah,
For you.
This is not a drudgery. We enjoy it.
Imagine we found yourself. We're going to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Sorry.
In
I
case you haven't
apologize.
noticed by now, we're complete dorks.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. I am like
Okay, well, I'm the dork.
super together. Like Kate Middleton could take lessons from me. Princess.
There you go.
Okay. Go.
Okay. Oh, yes, ma'am. We finished our last episode talking about body neutrality, and that's a new concept.
And it was hard. It was a lot. And it was like, I didn't think it sounded like something you could do very easily.
Yeah, to quote her, she said, that's a tall order. And
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
It is. It's a tall order. So today we're going to talk about 5 practical things that we can do to head that direction.
Yes.
So
So
that's what we're
there's
talking about.
hope in sight is basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
But-
it does sound like completely pie in the sky, but it's not.
Yes.
But on this, I know better, but you know how important it is to have fun and do things. But I can really be the queen of taking something fun and making it into a job. It's like, okay, I have to have fun now. What am I going to schedule that's fun? and doing it is like, okay, now I have checked off having fun.
Wow, that's funny because I have been able to my whole life take a job and turn it into fun.
This is why we.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. People, yeah, I've had bosses be like, be serious for a moment, please. I'm like, y'all need to be
Not serious.
not serious. That's what happens when you work in tech. You have to like remind people. People don't live or die on their line of code they write. No offense. If you write code, and I know some of you do life-saving work. Okay, sorry.
But you
go
can
ahead.
still lighten up.
So you know better, but you take everything into a jar.
I did not have
I interrupted.
but I can take having fun and make it into a job.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So that relates to.
One of our steps is to have fun.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's good to know. Good, I've got that covered. Finally, something. Anyway, I know better, but I heard the phrase, nothing tastes as good as thin feels, which I hadn't heard in years and years and years. And I thought, yeah, that's true. Oh, I've been skinny before. And really, is there anything as good as like being able to walk in to the store in Nordstrom and walk into the skinny clothes and put it in? Is there anything that tastes as good as that?
Have you eaten the fresh strawberries that are organically grown here in town?
Yes, but that makes you skinny if you just eat those.
No, it's not true.
We do. We have like all kinds of fruits and vegetables. That we're in the like
Everything.
heartland of California. We have all kinds of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
I said I know better about it. That's why I was I know better, but yeah.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, there are a lot of things that taste good. And I'm trying to just figure out the skinny is not the ultimate. I'm on the path. I'm like the nerd that's really far away from the goal on the path with you. I'm on the path with you. And y'all are probably ahead of me.
It's not a race.
And I don't know why I'm saying y'all, like I'm from.
Because it's like a perfect word for what it does. It is.
Why the rest of the country has not caught on. Y'all is good.
I know. We're going to co-opt it. We're in California. We're co-opting y'all.
Yep.
And you all, which is different. But So let me just share the screen right quick here.
Right, quick.
Right quick. Yeah,
We
we're
just decided to
full on
join this
Southern
now.
today.
Yeah, we just decided, these California girls we're done. We're heading down to Kentucky.
There you go. So 5 ways that you can appreciate your body right now, which will lead you toward body neutrality, is to reject cultural ideas.
And body neutrality.
Uh-huh.
Body neutrality, remind us.
Oh, yeah, let me remind you. Let me read this here.
Body neutrality is
this
somehow just accepting our body for what it is.
Body neutrality is the next generation of body image progress, a state of accepting and respecting your body as it is, prioritizing how you feel and what you do rather than how you look. So it's about how you feel and what you do, and not about how you look.
Okay,
so there you go.
All right.
Body neutrality. So rejecting cultural ideas about body shape, rejecting common beliefs about good and bad, and we'll obviously explain more about that because that's kind of not explained right now.
Yeah.
To have fun and do true self-care, and some other. Okay, we got something coming with that.
Sorry. Yeah, no, go carry on. Carry on.
Gratitude. And then
I love that. Smother it with gratitude. I just love that as a phrase. It's good.
Good. I'm glad. We'll see how you feel about it once I tell you the exercise that we get people to do.
Good golly, people. No, just teasing.
Number 5 is to notice the miracle daily. So we'll get back up to this, take it down now. But our first one, to reject cultural ideas about of shape. We've talked about this and we continue to talk about it, but there's just obviously culture has a very specific definition of what's okay to be a body shape.
Yes.
And
well, just not even just, I mean, we've talked about body shape a lot. We haven't talked a ton about aging and what is like as we age. Some of you are young and you're firm and beautiful and you won't view some of us are old. See how I am? Like some places in the world are like a bazillion times better. France pretends, I'm not entirely sure France truly ascribes to this, but France pretends that, as women age, they don't pretend. They say as women age, it's better than what the Botox look is or what the big lips are or whatever. Like to try and at least in some little tiny way in this country, can we allow women to age in some way? Like I have not dyed my hair. And it's funny because I dyed my hair from the time I was in high school, like bleach blonde or whatever, bright red. I've done all kinds of things to my hair. And it's gone great, and I just let it go great, and I let it be long because I want it to be long, and I get a lot of reactions to that. I get a lot of like, oh, look how brave you are, or look, no, so many people have told me how brave I am because I'm lazy and won't do my hair.
Well, no, I just thought I'm surprised at that because you recall not too long ago that it was like the girls in their 20s were dyeing their hair gray.
I know.
It's like it was the thing to have gray hair.
I know. And people said to me, oh yeah, gray's in style. Yes, gray was in style as an ironic look for somebody who was in their 20s. Like nobody was like looking at me and going, oh, look at her. Look at her being hip and cool. No, it was clear this is like real. No one's trying to, I didn't ever want to pretend like, oh, I'm hip and cool. That's why I'm letting my hair go gray, and nobody was looking at it like, oh yeah, no, it was like a young Gen Z, millennial maybe. I don't know.
Gray's having a moment.
Yes, and that's fine. I mean, not that. Yes, that was fine. If it was super clear you're in your 20s, or super clear that you were really young and you were dyeing your hair gray, that was cool. Somebody my age letting their hair go gray isn't the same coolness as and wasn't in that same thing. So as a result, I got people saying, well, look at how brave you are, or I wish I could do that because it's terrible to have to deal with my roots, but they wouldn't. and it's an anomaly to have like just let my hair go gray and have it be long and just to have it be not in the perfect whatever. But
and not be in your 90s.
Yeah, and not be in my 90s.
Yeah, but so the whole, the culture.
So it's shape too.
It's shape, but I mean your hair is definitely part of your body. So maybe we shouldn't just say shape.
Well, I mean, the shape too. Like things are not where they used to be. I have bad news for you.
Yeah. So just really recognizing that the cultural norm is not the goal. Just because it's.
I do think in America we are a little bit more obsessed with age than they are in other parts of the world.
That is possible, quite possible. But you mentioned France, and I just think it's rather ironic that they have several very high quality anti-aging. Things that come from there. So
I have used them.
I have used them. But they're sucking a beige, but they do all the anti-aging things.
Yes, very expensive, high-end, beautiful things that smell very good. Yes, no, they do. But the Botox thing is mostly if you talk to a French woman, which of course I do often with my French that I know. I do know French, so that doesn't mean I'm talking French women. But when you're in France, they do talk about like the American like Botox look is not beautiful. A beautiful woman is a woman who, obviously, like me, Zoom seems to smooth out a little things here. I'm not gonna. I don't want to like let the cat out of the bag, but it does seem just pretty. This is pretty good. It's not too much filtered.
It's not. It was definitely filtered, and that actually happened on my last update, and I was irritated about that.
You were?
Yes.
Thankful that you haven't changed it.
I don't even know how. We just did it.
I'm not going to tell you how.
Well, no. If I felt like it's extreme, I would find a way to get it off. But I feel like it's just a little softening and whatever.
Yeah. So we know better, but
so when you meet us in person, there's a few more wrinkles. It's just not quite as soft as it is.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yes. We know better, but we still are filtering ourselves so that you have like not.
Yeah, we're letting you know we're filtered. I didn't add the filter intentionally. And I just I have too many other tech things I need to learn.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about that.
And exactly. Yes.
So just recognizing that the culture, we're so trained that cultural ideas are what we need to aim for.
Yeah.
It's just time to realize that those cultural ideas are not what
and exhausting to aim for. I mean, like seriously, for me to dye my hair nonstop, that's just too much. It's too exhausting. And so I'm like, I don't know what culturally I'm supposed to do with my hair, like what length it needs to be or whatever. I'm just letting it be.
Yeah. How about your hair can be the length that you want it to be?
Or the Botox.
Whatever.
The thing that's interesting about Botox is there are places in this country where Botox is a lot cheaper than it is in California. So it's not even tempting here. But when I lived in Utah, they have like a whole cottage industry of like Botox and eyelashes and like I mean like you could go there and get like what they call the mommy makeover, which is have you heard of that? If you get a surgery that lifts your butt, it lifts your obviously takes in your belly, lifts your boobs, it like lifts like starts at the like thighs and ends I think here
and just
maybe and then just lifts it off and it's super painful supposedly. So I don't know about
and expensive.
I'm sure, but it's cheaper in Utah than it is in a lot of places, and so they have a whole cottage industry around. You can go to Utah tourism if you feel like letting me like putting me on your payroll for this. Go anyway. It's terrible. I'm just joking, but yeah, they have a whole cottage industry where you can go and then you stay in Park City instead of and then have them take care of you in like sort of a hotel-ish but doctory hotel-ish fashion. So you go and then you get all the things and it is cheaper to get things done. So I like have like facial hair because thanks grandmother. This is my grandmother's like deal for me. I appreciate it. Maybe that's
Some of my
the
eyes are my inheritance from my grandfather.
See, there you go. We all have things we inherit in our DNA, whatever. So I went to get lasered there because it's cheaper. And so I was going like every month or every other month. And so I got to know the girl who was lasering me pretty well because she was lasering me everywhere because I figured might as well. And I didn't know how old she was, but she started talking to me about Botox. And I was like, I make a lot of weird faces. And my fiance at the time was like, I don't care what you do, but do not get Botox. Do not get any fillers. I do not want that crazy face of yours that does all those crazy faces. I don't want to mess with that. Okay. So I kept telling this woman no. And then I explained why. And then she's like, well, I do it because it, trains your muscles and it will always be trained. This Botox is going to train him for a future time. Okay. So I thought she was in her mid-30s. Yeah. I thought she was in her mid-30s. And she's like, yeah, I'm 23 and I'm doing it. And I thought, oh my gosh, because here's the thing, like we associate, and maybe we won't if 20-year-olds keep doing Botox, but we associate like that look of Botox, that very like plasticky, look at the plasticky, like the whole thing. They associate that look with someone who's in their 40s, an older person. And instead, she was doing the exact opposite of what you would want to do because she was Botoxing her whole face to train her muscles, which I didn't believe that's a real thing. I mean, maybe somebody can tell us in the comments that's a real thing, but I don't think it's a real thing that you Botox yourself to train your muscles because you just have to keep using Botox again.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like the cultural idea of shape, like the youth of what she was trying to preserve in doing the thing that
was supposed to
preserve it actually was did the opposite because I was shocked that she was that young. Shocked, but really I was because but there we are, like this is what we culturally decide is important. So plastic skin,
not an easy thing to do, so just that's the first step. Those just
sorry.
Just acknowledge, recognize,
yes,
and acknowledge, and just go, wait a minute. No, I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to look like the cultural norm. I know. I want to just look like me.
I mean, really, like there's only one Margot Robbie.
There's only one Victoria.
I know. Well, yeah,
Sure.
that's a good. There is only one Victoria
in the whole time.
In the whole
only one Victoria.
Yeah.
And we've got her here.
Yes, I know. Queen.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
So
sorry.
Our
Carrie, you are good self.
Our second one is to reject common beliefs about what's good and bad. No, I'm not talking about moral things. I'm talking about things like often well-meaning people, when we are ill or injured, will go, oh, that must be so hard. It's such a bad thing. I'm sorry this bad thing happened to you.
Yeah.
People that use that word, that's the idea. And when we're doing that, and then we look at our bodies as being broken, even if our arm is actually physically broken, there's something to be learned from that. There's good that can come from that, and it's hard to deal with. It can be hard to deal with in the meantime. But just this idea of, okay, whether it's I look this way and that's not good, I look that way and that's not bad, or this is what a good body is, and this is what a good body does and can do. This is what it looks like. This is what it is. This is what it does. And this is, so if your body is not this, or this, then it's not a good body, which means by contrast that it's then a bad body.
Okay. So are we talking about like ability?
It can be that as well. Yeah.
So if you're
that, or it's like, I mean, we hear the phrase all the time. Oh man, he's got such a good body. She's got such a good body.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, Well,
Yeah.
then by contrast, somebody that doesn't have that kind of body has a bad body,
Yes.
because bad is the word that goes with good. And so that, no.
Okay, so we're just
That-
rejecting,
So that, but also.
What about if someone's
but
super fat?
ability wise.
like super fit. Like
You
maybe
think
he's
I'm
the,
gay, aren't you?
maybe the manager of the Giants who's super fit. He's very smart. He's
No,
very
okay.
smart.
So, yeah, so he has such a fit body.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make it a good body?
Do you really want me to answer that? It makes it a very attractive body for me to look at. How's that?
Okay.
That's
And
something so objectifying. I am super sorry. Dave Kapler's never watching this. But if you ever manage to, I'm very sorry. That is, I don't mean to objectify you that way.
Case in point. Then this is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just pulling back the curtain and then also having to do with ability, you know.
Do you know what's super weird about him though, that is interesting, which is why I actually like him, is he's very, very smart, like very analytical, very smart. And he is like, I think he had like 3% body fat at one point or something like that. That anybody even knew that and wrote an article about it is weird, but whatever. But so when he opens his mouth to speak, you're expecting like he is the manager of the Giants and he was a baseball player for like, I don't know, 100 years. No, he's not that old, but like 20 years maybe. And when you see somebody that looks like that and they open their mouth, you're expecting the smartest,
Not rocket science.
no rocket science coming out. And he opens his mouth and it's like rocket science, only when it comes to like baseball analytics and stuff like that. And he's been made fun of, and he's been, you know, ostracized in some ways because he's so smart, but he also looks a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like kind of the reverse of, you know, there's an acceptable body that, and I think to some degree, I personally have never faced this, but I think to some degree women face the same thing. If they're too pretty or they're too beautiful, then they can't, you know, that they're not smart enough to back that up.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, if
You're smart or you're attractive.
yes, but also if you're super outside the cultural norm on the opposite scale, pun intended, then also you're not smart. You're like, you know what I mean? There's like this very weird society we live in. Sorry.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I just went on and on about that, but like it's just
And so,
strange.
and so in order to be able to develop body neutrality, to just recognize that and take a step away and go, you know what, just because society says this is what's good doesn't mean it is. Just because people say this is bad doesn't mean it is.
Yeah.
And
This
so
is what smart looks like, this is what stupid looks like, this is what, you know, lazy looks like, this is what,
Right.
And we have all those pictures in our head. Like if I said that, you know, probably people out there would have pictures in their head. This is what lazy looks like.
Well, think about movies or TV shows. The really funny characters, usually the big people. You know,
Yeah.
People in larger bodies are often they're the funny sidekick. They are not the leading character. They're not the leading man, the leading lady. They're the funny sidekick.
Yeah.
But so all that kind of just go, okay, just recognizing and putting that aside.
Yeah, just recognizing that's a big thing.
Yeah, and because when we can do that, then are we going to change things? If there are enough of us that start recognizing this, then yes. But immediately, no. But it then starts changing the way that we're looking at ourselves.
Yeah.
And just going, oh, okay, whatever. You know, that actress who just had a baby 6 weeks ago and now it looks like that, like she's ready to step on the screen again.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it should for get there and just go, oh, okay, well, that's interesting, whatever. Yeah. What? Maybe, or maybe it's just genetics, or but we don't know.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing, just kind of let it.
But to reject too, when we look in the mirror, reject to try and reject what society says looks like,
Right.
you know. Because my sister is very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And well, she's older now. No offense, sis, you are, but still very beautiful. She's very, very beautiful. And I grew up with knowing that I had a very beautiful sister. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be the beautiful one, so I better be the smart one. You know, like that. That was a choice on my part to like, oh well, I don't have to be the pretty one, I can be the smart one. And the reality is she's very smart too, but she's also pretty. So, you know, that didn't seem fair. But that's like, we grew up with weird ideas like that. I can't be the only one in the world that thought that, right? 100%. Somebody else probably had a really beautiful sister in there. Like, please, someone out there, please. Yeah. Don't leave me hanging.
Our next one is to have fun. And
yes,
and
running through the sprinklers.
Yes, like
we talked about that.
Before. But to just be willing to do just fun things and not how many times, hopefully you haven't done this, but I'm pretty sure many of you, if not all of you have, where instead of going, oh, we're going to the beach, yeah, I'm in, and running and playing in the waves in your swimsuit, you go, I'll go to the beach with you, but you're not going to see me in my swimsuit and I'm not getting wet.
That's sad. That's very, very sad.
It is. I had a customer, not one of my clients, but I helped my son at his auto shop a couple of days a week, and I had a customer come in, and in this case, it was a man, and he was, I was just so sad. It wasn't, I was in a place where I could have a conversation with him about it, but there was a candy dish on the counter, and he was just eyeing, he's like, oh, I wish I could have that, but I can't, because I'm gonna have gastric bypass, so I'm looking forward to that, because then I can go, you know, like go swim in it. You know, I've never gone to the pool. I've never, because I've always had a bigger, you know, I've always been like this size or more, and so I've never been able to go and put on a swimsuit and go to the pool. When the reality is, he could have, but he didn't, and he didn't because of these cultural expectations. And so, how many times have we kept ourselves from doing the fun thing or enjoying the fun thing if we're doing it because we're just too concerned about how we're going to look while doing it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I you know, I was a scuba diver, and I'm in the ranks. I'm an assistant, I'm certified assistant instructor at this point. I always wanted to become an instructor, and I haven't yet. But one of the things I wanted to do, why I even cared about doing it all, is because I wanted to have classes for just women. Because scuba diving is, especially when you're learning, is a kind of a gross sport. Like, I don't know what it's like in the warm water, but in cold water in California, we go to Monterey, and you're wearing like really thick wetsuit. So you have to like scrunch your body in this really thick wetsuit. And there were 2 girls in my class, and I think there were 6 or 7 of us. And there were 2 girls, and she came sometimes, but not always. And so sometimes it was just me, even if it was just her too, switching our bodies into this, and you know, like, it wasn't attractive. And then you get in the water and things happen, and you've got your mask on, and like some snot comes out your nose. I don't even like saying.
You're putting the thing in your mouth until your mouth is all.
Yeah, that too. Like, there's a lot of it. So anyway, there's just a lot, and I could see where women would struggle in, like, I wanted to learn more than anything. Like, I love the water. You know, my parents had boats, so I learned to swim when I was 6 months. My mom took me. It was one of those baby swimmer things. So I was motivated beyond anything to learn how to scuba dive. But it wasn't pretty. And I could see where women wouldn't, and the girl who was with me, she was doing it because her boyfriend wanted her to. And I thought, so many women would love this sport, because once you get in the water, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, and you're just floating. And it's talking about weight, you put a weight belt on based on how much you weigh, and you're just neutral, and that's what you call it. You call it body neutral, and you're just there, and your weight has nothing to do with anything. And you see something, you know, you're swimming, and you see something, and you just almost look at it, and your body just goes down to look at it. And if you see, you know, I don't know, some kind of strange nudie, they call them nudibranchs, on a piece of kelp, you just look at it, and your body just naturally goes there. And it's the most magnificent experience you could possibly ever imagine. And there's not as many women doing it as there possibly could. And that was one of the things in my goals of a someday thing, is that I do want to do like a school for women, because who don't want to look ugly or feel bad or, you know, have grossness, you know, what we perceive as grossness. I obviously think it's gross because I can barely say snot. So I would not make a good 10-year-old boy. You can't even say snot. Anyway, yeah, like you just don't, you know, there's so many things that people keep themselves from doing. And I don't even know if women would know how truly, like, body shaming it could be to scuba dive. But I just think there's so many things we keep ourselves from doing based on how we're going to look, or how it's going to feel, or what we're going to think other people are going to think about us, and things like that.
So learn to just find something specifically that you have to use your body for. No, that was.
Well, you said you needed to know more about fun, so
talking on the podcast. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm weird. I have problems, clearly.
But to have,
I think you should come scuba diving with me.
I can't now.
Why?
That is the one thing my ear doctor said. It's off your list. So anyway,
okay.
But I would have.
Yes.
But it's so just find something fun to do. That you have to use your body for.
Yes, like this, like that, or that Ragnar thing we were talking about. Ragnar, is that how you say it? Where you run up and down mountains for 36 hours. Sounds awesome.
Go skip.
Yes, go skipping. Go skipping. Yeah.
I just saw this hilarious video the other day. This guy trying to skip, this older man, and he could not do it anymore. It's so funny watching. No, he was just trying to remember how to do it. It's so funny. But go skip, or just do something fun, body related.
Yes.
And that can really help.
Even if that's going to the beach and just putting your feet in the water.
Yeah.
Or if you can't, or a lake, or wherever you live.
Yeah.
I love water, but you know.
Or I mean, even just walking. Just go for walks and brings it. Just something that is
it's just my own personal thing. I'm not a big fan of walking.
I know, right? And that's fine. I love to walk.
I mean, obviously, to get to your place, so I think you should run. That's the thing. I think, like, I don't like if I'm walking for exercise. I think, oh, this is taking so long. If I could just run, it would be faster.
I don't have time just for exercise.
But we live in the middle of a bunch of fields, and so it was summer solstice the other day. And I went out to these fields, and we have like the smallest mountain range
in the world.
It's tiny. I climbed to that peak. But anyway, it's like this. It really is like this in your pictures. And I just walk around and I take pictures, and sometimes I get muddy and sometimes I don't. And I don't have a fancy camera. I just go and do it, and it gives me like some peace and happiness. And I watched the sun go down on the, longest day of the year, and it just made me happy.
And you probably were not thinking while you're doing it, oh, I must look ridiculous when I'm doing this.
No.
Or I look really cute doing this, I'm sure.
I never do, ever. But this last time, it was the sun was just this gorgeous golden, and I was like, I've never taken a selfie of me out here. And so I did. I took one selfie and I was like, this golden light, they call it the golden hour for good reason. And so then I did like 3 or 4 more selfies. There you go. So I guess I did care about how I looked a little.
Well,
I just looked golden. It was
like
the ultimate filter.
Yeah. You were thinking about the light. But anyway.
Yes, I was thinking.
So yeah, just do something fun. Do something fun, and that can really help us toward body neutrality. So The next one is, this is the phrase that Dick loves, smother its gratitude.
Doesn't it sound so good?
It does.
It's like them like the most happy gravy.
Yes.
Okay. You sound like it's you're about to burst a bubble.
No, it is. It really is. It is all that beautiful thing. However, I'm going to share with you an exercise that I've done with the most of my clients. No, and this is,
It's a nice butt.
it is, why, thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I set you up for that one. Okay.
Call me crazy. It is, I had a friend challenge me to this many years ago, and when she challenged me to do it, it's like, you've got to be crazy. But it has been one of the most empowering things I've done. And one of the things that caused me to have the biggest shift toward my body. And here it is. It's called 100 Things List. Make a list of 100 things that you appreciate about your body.
100?
100.
I mean, like, I guess I can go back through my anatomy and go through like my femur, my tibia.
And you think you're joking, but seriously, when we take the time to do that, and I laugh because I've got so much resistance to this exercise, and obviously not really all in one sitting. It's like, however many you can come up with, do that, and then keep adding to it, putting it into place until you get to at least 100. And you make it to the point where it's like, well, my fingernails grow good,
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of ridiculous, but what it does is it starts you realizing what your body really does.
Well, that was the thing. This is my first day without a bandage here, and I don't have a scar. I'm so excited. I hit the fan. That sounded like I hit the fan. No, I literally did. I was cleaning, and my ceiling fan hit my hand and like knocked me over. And yeah, it made me appreciate like 8 million things to do with my hand, like the fact that I was going to have to go to the urgent care. Well, I could have gone to emergency, but I didn't. Urgent care, and I had already put a bra on. I was like, thank heavens, because how
couldn't have done that.
Yeah, I can't. How are you going to do that with one hand? You're not like some like sneaky 25-year-old man that's used to going I'm doing bras. Like I can, so anyway, but it did. It made me like go on and on, all the different things my hands did, and what I could do if I luckily had no bones broken, just some sprains here and there, but it was a huge reminder of how everything can be fine in one instant. I'm not saying anything that any of you out there don't already know. Everything can be fine in one instant, and the second later it's not. And and how much our body really does do. So I'm not as resistant to that as you might think. I thought I could come up with 100 pretty fast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. There's your assignment. And there's your assignment too. 100 things list.
Yeah. If I can do it, you can.
Yeah. And it's so sad to me because I can tell you myself, I have literally had clients who, when I said this, like they could not come up with one thing. We had to start doing the list together because they couldn't come up with one thing, and that just breaks my heart. It's very sad. It was very sad. I've had another client that actually didn't happen immediately, but ultimately, because it's like, okay, so you had your things, and she wouldn't do it.
Really? She really hated her body that much.
She just couldn't, like, the idea of appreciating her body like that was just unfathomable to her.
Wow.
She just couldn't do it. And it wasn't that she was filled with sort of this particular client, wasn't filled with some body hatred. It's just that the thought of appreciating, because we're taught that appreciating our body means vanity.
Maybe that's my deal. Maybe that's my deal. Like no one ever told me like appreciating my body was vanity. Like no one ever told me that it was vain. But all the time I spent looking in the mirror was like nothing but decent.
Well, vanity, vanity is just anyway, it's a different thing, but being able to have it be okay to recognize all the things that our body, I don't care if you are in ill health, If you're in ill
Yeah.
health, you're
Your
still,
eyes work,
yeah.
or any
And
sun,
even if
or
you have a heart condition, your heart is still beating and keeping you alive, or it's working well enough
Yeah.
to keep you alive, or you wouldn't be here.
yes.
It's like 100 things list. It can be life-changing. That can be a really life-changing exercise to do. And I really encourage you, I invite you with everything that I have to do it. And hopefully it's not too difficult for you, like Vic is saying. But if it is, just keep at it. And if you need help starting yours, then comment. And you can contact me. Or go on the socials and DM me. I'm happy to help you get started.
Yes.
Happy to help you get started. This can it can be a life-changing thing.
It's interesting because I have a friend who was born with I can't remember, it was a condition in his eyes, and he just over time slowly has gone blind. And when I met him, he was not totally blind, and could see shapes and colors and could see some things. But he was a news reporter, and then he was a documentary filmmaker. So he was going blind while he was still being a documentary filmmaker. And so at some point when he got to the point where he couldn't do that any longer, he created like a documentary film, a short film about what it looked like for him to go blind, starting on, like what it was, and then just shapes, and then just colors, and then just light and just dark. And then, it was really, it's a powerful thing to see, no pun intended, it was a powerful thing, to experience with a different degree of empathy, of what our eyes are capable of doing, and how much they will still work for us, even, a lot of people wear glasses or have had, corrective surgery or things like that, to just to see the miracle, which is kind of the miracle that just sight is.
Yes. And what this list does too, which leads over into so many other areas in life as well, is it helps us to focus on what is rather than what isn't. If we like in this situation, if we have ill health, we have a chronic illness, it can be really easy to focus on what isn't, what our body can't do. But to focus on what it can, it really helps us to look at what is and what can, instead of what isn't and what can't. And that is a powerful, powerful tool to have in your toolkit for having a happy life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I actually love it. I love it even more now.
Good. So by the time we have another episode, she'll have done her list.
Yes, I could probably do it right here.
And then our last item connects with this. The 100 things list is like a not necessarily one time for you, maybe a one time sit down and do. But then to continue to notice the miracle of your body, at least one little thing that's miraculous about your body every day. Yeah, and make a habit of that. And initially start with putting a reminder in your phone or post it on your mirror, whatever works for you, to notice at least one good thing. Notice how miraculous it is that your wrist healed.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, our bodies heal.
It was pretty hard.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's astounding that they can do this.
Yeah.
It's astounding that our eyes can see, even if we do have corrective surgery or glasses or contacts or whatever. It is amazing.
And sometimes you don't
even, our fingers can bend and pick things up.
Yeah.
And it's just these simple little things that we don't from which I'm used to, like, I'm just so grateful that children's bodies are washable. Yeah, we can wash ourselves. We don't have to just be dirty, or as a friend said, I'm not made of sugar, I won't melt.
Oh, yeah. I am.
I'm
made of sugar. I'm just as sweet as sweet can be.
Well, that may be true, but you're still not made of sugar, because I can put you out in the rain and you don't melt. So that's
but we can wait to the west.
There you go. Maybe she was made of sugar.
Maybe that was her whole problem.
Oh,
She was too sweet when she was a kid. Oh my gosh.
only spit on the
Stop.
story.
I'm not writing the new like Wicked. Right here we are with our two writer selves.
There you go. So that it's just learning to notice every single day something miraculous.
And really, you don't even know something until, like, for instance, I am anemic. They call it pernicious anemia, which means I have no idea why I'm anemic, but I'm anemic. And it affects all kinds of things, which you don't even think about. Like, it affects the, getting the oxygen to all of my cells all over. And that's a very, very important thing when it comes to wanting to run or, kinds of things, it just, and it affects, your hair staying in or falling out. I mean, there's like a million things just that one element does. And so, that's me focusing on like the bad that comes from not having it, but there's so many other things that our body does.
Yeah. Well, it's
like,
miraculous that your body can be that low in iron and still function.
Yeah. I'm here. Yeah.
In
front of you, not lying in bed going on. I don't know if that's the way I lie in bed.
Well, no, she's really sick. That's what she's reading.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes.
All right.
So many things.
Let me share this one more time. And a little brief recap. So 5 things you can do to appreciate your body right now and to help move toward that body neutrality, where we stop being so critical of ourselves and others, is to reject cultural ideas about body shape and ability, and reject common beliefs about what's good and what's bad, and have fun. Practice true self-care. True self-care.
This true self-care thing. This self-care thing makes me bonkers. Because I feel like, that is just yet one more thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Like, oh my gosh, I need to go find a candle somewhere and like lie in a bathtub, and I don't have a really big bath. So it's really kind of a boring thing for me to just go lie in the bathtub with a candle.
Okay.
True self-care.
Yes, no, that's
not true.
Not for you. For me, I love taking a bath, but for you, no, that doesn't put you both. That's not true self-care. For you,
I feel like there's very specific ideas of self-care.
There is. That's why I put true self-care.
Okay, true.
Because that's what works for you. Whatever makes your heart sing, whatever nourishes your soul and helps you feel more filled up and not depleted, that's true self-care. True self-care can be, reading a book to my grandchildren. That can be true self-care, because I love to, sit with them on my lap or sitting next to me or FaceTime with them if that's what needs to happen. But whatever self-care looks like, true self-care. So have fun and true self-care, which is
go take pictures,
not prescriptive
of the sunset.
Right.
In an orchard.
Yeah. Whatever your Instagram feed says, if it fills your soul, yes, that is self-care. If whatever your Instagram feed says is self-care, may or may not be. So you don't have to believe them. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, you can throw it away and not feel like you're not caring for yourself. So there you go.
Yeah. It just felt like things that should be able to do
permission from me.
Okay, thank heavens. Finally, permission for something.
The world can go on.
Thank you. I didn't think it was going to be able to.
Yeah.
I saw that. So
you're
on there.
You're welcome. And then this mother with gratitude, do your 100 things list. And we'd love to hear if you your mission, should you choose to accept it. We'd love to hear how that goes for you. Comment, DM us, whatever, email, whatever. At the end of the video, we've got the how to connect.
Okay. Yeah.
So and to notice the miracle daily, because your body, whatever it is or isn't, whatever shape it is in or is not in, whatever it looks like or doesn't look like, it is miraculous.
Yes.
It is truly a miracle. And it's a miracle every day. And it does miraculous things every day.
Yeah. Believe. Yep. Word. As they used to say back in the day. Word. Word to your mother.
There you go. So until next time.
Are we gonna be
Are we going to show ourselves
Yeah.
instead of just the screen? We can do that. Okay.
Not to be like vain about it.
It's just being thorough.
Yes. Yes.
Ending properly. Until next time, remember to nourish your body and soul.
And soul. Okay. Bye, guys.
Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyandsoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodysoul.com.
Okay, so this is embarrassing because I've always made fun of people who did this, but
Like and subscribe.
turns out it's important.
Well, it's important because if you like what you're listening to and seeing and you want to find it again, it makes it easier for you to find it, and then also it makes it easier for other people to find it.
Mhm.
So if you like us, like us,
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like put a ring on it, like
Yeah,
us.
yeah, then like and subscribe, and it'll make us easier to find. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the host, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.